In this video, you're going to discover something almost no one noticed, a hidden code at the end of episode 2 of Half-Life Alyx, a mural that appears to be decorative, but when deciphered, reveals a secret narrative that could rewrite everything we thought we knew about the series' universe. What do those figures around Gordon Freeman mean? And why do the Vortigaunts seem to have predicted his arrival? Could it be that they traveled through time even before the Combine invasion? And even more disturbing, what lies behind the halo drawn on the Nyland's head and Gordon's? Each image in this mural holds a lost piece of history, a cosmic revelation, a forgotten connection between races, planets, and consciousnesses. And the more you watch, the more it starts to seem like the Combine aren't just after Earth, but after control of time itself. And that, my friend, could change everything. So get ready, because what you're about to see is not just an analysis, it's a deep investigation with hidden details, occult symbolism, and theories that will blow your mind. But first, take a deep breath, hit play, and dive with me into the spiral. Because after watching this, you'll never look at the world of Half-Life the same way again. This mural is seen a little before Alyx meets the first Vortigaunt in the game, the one whose brain was pierced by the Combine. It's made with a luminescent paint. If you look closely at the ground, you'll see a type of plant or fungus, probably where it was extracted from. You can still observe some traces of green energy left by the Vortigaunt, so Alyx can find the gate password. But what interests us most isn't the combination shown on the mural, but rather the story it tells. Let's go step by step. In Half-Life 2 Episode 2, before healing Alyx, the Vortigaunt tells us that this is an ancient practice. In this first image, we see the Vortigaunts living in peace and collecting secretions from the antlions. This confirms the idea that these two species are from the same planet. There may have even been farms for producing this substance that makes Vortigaunt so powerful, and that the antlions didn't come to Earth by chance. Maybe the Vortigaunts brought them here to cultivate this substance too. And as we saw in Half-Life 2, they're not that easy to find, but in Alyx's opinion, they're worth it. In the second image, we see the Vortigaunts being attacked by the Combine. You can see striders and drones killing them mercilessly. But the most interesting part are the humanoid figures coming out of the dropships. Could they be humans? It could be another race used before humans. After all, the war between the Combine and the Vortigaunts happened long before Earth was invaded. But if they really are humans, there are only two possibilities. Either the Combine already had humans in their military forces before invading Earth, which means our race is not exclusive to our dimension, or the Combine can also travel through time, which makes Half-Life's story even more complicated. Imagine conquering in the future only to fight in the past. Then you can say goodbye to timelines, everything could change in an instant and nothing would be constant. Practically an endless war, eternal chaos. Unless only you have full control over how to navigate through space and time. Wait, could that be the Combine's goal? Maybe we'll never know. Now, let's go to the third image. In it, we see the Vortigaunts refugees in Xen being enslaved by the Nyland. There's even one crying in sadness. But notice the circles where they're trapped. Could this be the vortescence the Nyland mastered? And more, look at the halo on his head. See the lines coming out in all directions, as if it's expanding? What could this represent? We'll talk more about it later. The next image is pretty obvious, showing the first area of Xen that Gordon visited, where there's a Xenian teleporter, and also the Gonarch, which you probably know well. If you don't, stay tuned to the channel because we'll talk about it soon. Now, everything gets more interesting in the next image, the one showing Gordon Freeman in the anti-mass spectrum chamber at Black Mesa. At the bottom, you can see some little eyes, probably from the Vortigaunts who saw him at that moment. However, what stands out the most are the lines connecting to Freeman in the same way that as in the Nyland's drawing, except Gordon's are much larger and far more numerous. Notice that instead of coming from the halo around his head, the lines come from the circle around his body. We still haven't figured out what they mean, but one thing is certain. Gordon caused a significant shift in space-time, and maybe he's more powerful than we know. This is definitely why the G-Man so desperately wanted to control Freeman. And here's another detail. Notice that there's a glowing Black Mesa symbol connected to these lines. Could this be the connection the Vortigaunts made between Gordon and Alyx? Unfortunately, we can't be sure of anything, but let's move on. The next image isn't particularly interesting, just some tentacles and hound eyes. But in the following one, we see something that confirms a theory that was circulating online, that the controllers died along with the Nyland. But why did that happen? Well, the controllers were actually an extension of him. We don't know if this is a trait of their species or if the Nyland himself created them, just like he manufactured the grunts. What we do know is that the Nyland used the controllers as intermediaries directly connected to their master. Perhaps they didn't even have individual consciousness and were just tools made for the Nihilant to control the Vortigaunts. Let's move to the next image. It shows the Vortigaunts happy, free. Look closely at the figure above with its 4 open eyes, symbolizing their return to the vortessence, and the halo with 3 long lines that didn't appear when they were imprisoned. In the next image, we see Eli and Alyx united with the Vortigaunts, with the Citadel exploding in the background, just like at the end of Half-Life 2. If we analyze all the halos, we see that they all have at least 3 vertical lines, on the Vortigaunts, on the humans, and even the Nihilant. Maybe this means something about each species' perception of space and time. Maybe it represents how much their consciousness is expanded. The fact is, we still need more clues to reach a conclusion. Comment below what you think, and don't forget to like the video because next week there's more. Big hug, my dear friends.